It's Awake All Night, the Sugar Glider Show. Starring Adama, the Sugar Glider, and special guest Shelley Stirk, and a special Adama Bond. And here's your host, Patrick Kinney.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of Awake All Night, the Sugar Glider Show. I'm your host, Patrick. The holidays are over, we're in a new year, and coming to us from Ohio is Shelley Stirk. She's a breeder, and she's also the inventor of glidariums. How you doing, Shelley?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. So I'm going to ask you what I'll probably ask almost everybody that comes on the show is, where did you see your first sugar glider, and what got you hooked?
Actually, the first time that I seen sugar gliders was at a home and garden show, and I didn't know anything about them. My husband and my son knew a little bit more about them than I did. We went ahead and got a pair, but at that point, I wanted nothing to do with them. I wouldn't touch them, I wouldn't hold them, I wouldn't do anything at all. This slowly took me several months before I would actually start handling them, and let's just say it kind of all went uphill from there.
That's a very unusual answer because most people love them at first. I can't believe you thought they were like rodents at first. You didn't like them.
Yeah, they kind of reminded me of little, and I hate when people say this, but they kind of reminded me of rodents. I didn't do really well with small animals at that point, but like I said, you get used to them, you start holding them, and you know, when you start bonding with them, it's just, everything totally changes, so you just kind of fall in love with them.
Fair enough. Let's jump into this, Shelley. You invented glidariums. What is a glidarium? And I take it that is one right there.
Yes, that is actually a glidarium sitting behind me. We came up with them, a friend of mine, Nancy Ford in Louisville, Kentucky, made a small travel carrier for in your car. And this was back when, a couple years ago, when the reptariums, what people used to use, regularly use for sugar glider cages, became unsafe. The manufacturer changed the material to where it was no longer glider safe. Sugar gliders actually were, the material was snagging, and they were getting their feet caught and causing severe damage where they would have to have their feet or legs amputated, and there were actually some deaths that had occurred from that. So the material she had used is a mesh material that does not snag or tear. So we were talking one day and said, well, if we can make them small for in your car, why can't we make them larger? So now we have them available in different sizes and in different colors, and it is now a completely glider safe material.
So I hear you're pretty good with a set of nail clippers, Shelley. Tell me how that came about.
The deal with nail clippers is trimming gliders' nails is extremely important. If their nails are not trimmed properly, they can get caught up on the contents of their cage, and that could be very dangerous. They could get hurt, rip their toenail, break their toe. If they get caught really bad, they will actually chew their foot off to get released. So it's imperative that we do proper nail trimming on our sugar gliders. I had been asked to do a nail trimming demo at a gathering where a lot of us had gotten together, and that's kind of when I came up with a kit, because I did not want to be trimming everybody's glider's nails with the same pair of nail clippers, because parasites can be transmitted primarily through fecal matter. Of course, they walk through things, so fecal matter can be on their toenails. So I just thought it was a more hygienic practice to everybody have their own nail clippers. So that's kind of how that came about.
So you've also put together a cool set of nail clippers for sale, correct?
Yes, I do.
So when people get these clipper sets in the mail, what kind of instructions are included?
Actually, what they'll do if they order the nail trimming kit from me, it'll come complete with a double layered hidden seam fleece pouch. Small pouch made just for nail trimming, big enough for one glider, where you can handle the glider easily. It will come with the angled nail clippers. It will also come with a small container of cornstarch. That's in the event you trim them too closely, you can use the cornstarch to coagulate to stop the bleeding. It'll also come with a little sample bag of treats. My idea is if you keep their mouth busy on a treat, they won't be busy on your hands biting you. And also in there will be a link to a video of me doing a demonstration on how to trim the nails, something they can watch over and over again so they know the proper way to trim nails.
Just the other day I met two people. They just got back from a flea market. They bought a male and a female sugar glider, and they knew nothing about sugar gliders, nothing about what they eat or anything. The person that sold them told them the basics, but also sold them on the fact that if they breed the male and female, and occasionally a white one's going to come out and they can make a lot of money. Every time I talk to people about sugar gliders who don't know a whole lot, the breeding question always comes up. I've never bred sugar gliders and I don't intend to. But what advice as a breeder can you give somebody who's thinking about breeding sugar gliders?
Well, with that type of particular situation, I would start off with asking them how much they know about sugar gliders. I never ever recommend somebody to get sugar gliders and right away start breeding. There is a misconception that you can breed sugar gliders and sell them for a lot of money and get rich, and that's just really not going to happen. Find yourself a reputable breeder to mentor you. What I try to tell people, they need to own their sugar gliders for a minimum of a year, possibly even 2 years, before they venture into breeding. There's so much to know about a sugar glider in itself, including the daily care, how to bond with them, what is safe for them. You've got to understand the different cages that are safe, what type of materials that their pouches can be made of. You need to learn their personalities, you need to learn how to read their body language. For the example you gave, they bought 2 gliders and occasionally they can get a white baby and it will be worth a lot more money. That may or may not be true. If they don't have the proper genetics, they'll never produce a white, which is a leucistic sugar glider. They will only produce whatever their genetics allow them to. You have to understand how to make sure that the male and female that you are planning on breeding together are genetically compatible. If it's not genetically compatible, now you can encounter health issues with the offspring. It is also your responsibility as a breeder to know this information well enough to educate those that are going to purchase the joeys from you. Everybody that purchases a joey from me, if they're planning on using it for pet, I educate them on everything they need to know about that. If they are deciding to be a breeder, then I will sit and I will go over all of the stuff, because that's my responsibility as a breeder to make sure that those that are going to take my joeys and turn around and breed them to another glider, that they understand it, because they have to pass that information on to their customers.
Thank you, Shelley, for taking the time out to be on the show and answering questions.
Thank you.
Where can people find you?
They can visit my website at www.glidernursery.com.
And now, here's the Bunza product of the month.
And this month, I have the cup of sugar. And the reason it's the product of the month is because I can't get my boys out of it. That's all they sleep in. There's probably 10 little places for them to sleep, and they are always in the cup of sugar. It's so awesome. I can take it right out of the cage, and it's the funniest thing just to look down in this little cup of sugar, and there's 2 little faces staring up at me. It's an awesome product because the boys love it. You can check them out at critterlove.com. I love mine. Congratulations to Critter Love for being the very first recipient of
Bunza product of the month.
Bonza Product of the Month is not an advertisement. If you have a glider product that you would like to be considered for Bonza Product of the Month, email Patrick at slotjaw@aol.com.
Here's another Adama Bond. Adama gets a roommate.
Just where we left off, Adama learned to jump to me and do all kinds of acrobatic stuff in the bathroom. The only thing was missing, at night he was barking a lot, and I'd go to the cage and he'd run behind the wheel. It wasn't me he was looking for, and I could tell this. So I decided to get him a roommate. What? That's correct, Adama. You're getting a roommate. This is Ty. Ty has met Adama before, earlier in the day, and this is the first time he's in the cage.
See? How about that?
And he goes right for the wheel. That's funny. You went right for the wheel. He did go right for the wheel, and Adama immediately just started darting around the cage faster than I've ever seen him move. And watching Ty in the wheel, Ty wouldn't get out of the wheel, Ty stayed in the wheel. So Adama's watching him, and I guess he just decided, well, better to join him, and now it's our wheel. And he's in there, it was very cute. He's cleaning Ty, hanging on to him. It was very cute. Both Ty and Adama are eating yogurt treats now, which is great because I can reward them. But Adama loves spaghetti, and this is spaghetti fishing. The weird thing was, though, that Ty did not sleep in a pouch with Adama the first night. He slept in the corner of the cage on his back. I don't know why that never happened again. I had to introduce Ty to the glider room, which is the bathroom, with Adama, and the first thing he did was try to get away, and he tried to climb up the wall, which was not happening. The cool thing I noticed was Adama would show off. He started firing around up and down the curtain, so it was sort of like Adama saying, "Yeah, I can do this," and he was just climbing all over. He just ran right over Ty. After a couple days of this, Ty got used to it. He stopped being so still and started following Adama around. I've never had two sugar gliders before, and it's kind of funny when two of them are on you, going in opposite directions. One's jumping on your head, and the other one's running up your leg sleeve. It's confusing at first. Heavy traffic on the body, but they're getting along great. It's awesome. It really is, and I'm so glad I got him a buddy. They still bark, but it's not crazy times in the middle of the night. It's just a bad time in the morning. Usually 15 minutes before I need to get up in the morning. When I really want to just sleep that extra 15 minutes, the barking starts. So I get up. When I had my first sugar glider, Gaius, I had a thing with him. When I called him, he would come to me by name, and if he was up, he would jump right to me immediately. And I haven't had any success with Adama yet. Like, I can't call him and he'll come. If I go put my hand over, he'll certainly climb onto my hand. But he's not at the point yet where I can call him and he'll come to me. Or I can put him on my shoulder, but I certainly wouldn't walk outside, and I'm certainly not going to go somewhere where I feel like he can get in trouble if he jumps off of me. He pretty much stays on me, but we're not there yet. We're getting there. We really are. I've shot so much footage that I can't even show you. That's pretty amazing, just because the show would be way too long. But this happened, and it's kind of fun. I'll let it roll. This is Ty. Come in. Come in. Oh, the first one. Very good. I'm so happy. I'm happy. Come here. Where are you going? Come here. You jumped to me. That's awesome. Okay. So there's my two boys. That's where we're at. Everybody's getting along great now, and we're getting there, folks. I mean, I don't know how many more episodes, but you're going to see some amazing things. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next time on Adama Bond.
This is Emily, the Sheila from Down Under. See you next month on Awake All Night, the Sugar Glider Show.